This
about
conference will now be recorded.
we've also covered about page blob, blog blob, and append blob. Okay, so hope you're done with your labs. I was just verifying here. I don't see any activities. Just give me a second. No, I don't see any activities after our session yesterday. So please take time to practice. It's up to you how you practice, and then the results will depend based on that. Okay, so create VNets and then enable VNet peering. Try to do all the steps whatever we have covered. I've also sent step-by-step document, I mean the link where you can find all the information that how you can enable site to site, sorry, VNet to VNet peering. Okay, so until unless you practice, you will not be able to get anything, because in the class it will be easy to understand, but after a few days you're going to forget until unless you practice it. Okay, please take time and work on it. Okay, so today we will see about point to site VNet configuration. So which is again enterprise grade requirement for any of the customers. If you consider like for any customer, just give me a second. There is one more person waiting and he's facing issue to log in. Just give me a second. Right. So today we are going to discuss about a point to site VPN, and which is also very much required for the business, and you might get interview questions on this as well. So we'll see. So whatever we have discussed so far is like VNet to VNet peering, and this is within the subscriptions. Okay, so this is within the subscription, and between the subscriptions, even between the VNets also you can use this one. Okay, now whatever we are going to see now is point to site VPN. Along with this, we also have site to site and express route. So these are required if you want to enable connection between on-premises to Azure. Okay, let me draw the diagram. So if you consider, let's say this is Azure, and here you have got multiple VNets, or let's say only one VNet. Okay, whatever you consider, and let's make it as, let's say this is, just give me a second, I'll draw something like this. And if you want to enable a VPN connection from on-premises to Azure, let's say this is your on-premises, and here it is Azure. So this is also required because everything you'll be working remote. and all the services that you are going to use for your business will be on remote data center, whether it is in South India or Southeast Asia, Australia, wherever it is. Because with the cloud platform, you are going to deploy that in the required regions wherever it is across the globe, right? Except um, US government and Chinese data centers and Germany data centers. So there are some restrictions over that. So if you consider all that, as you have got flexibility to cover uh, the deployments within multiple data centers, but there will be also a requirement to connect from on-premises to Azure, because everything cannot be in public internet. So of course you can manage everything in public internet, but the problem is you're going to face a lot of issues in terms of security and accessibility. So to avoid that, Microsoft has introduced a secured connections which are like this: point to site VPN, we call it as VPN types, point to site to site VPN, and express route VPN. Okay, so this point to site VPN will be used if there are limited number of users in your organizations to connect back to Azure. Then we are going to proceed with this point, which is point to site VPN. Okay, so let me write a definition. If you have a limited number of users, let's say 5 to 10 users and 20 users to connect from on-premises to Azure, then I'm going to use this point to site VPN, because you can manage only for the limited number of users. Otherwise, the setup will be uh, difficult to manage and to configure it for hundreds of users. So if you are going beyond 50 users, I would recommend to use this site to site VPN. Okay, if you have more users, and that's the reason it is called as point to site. It means you are pointing to Azure site only for limited users. It means, let's say here I've got user 1, user 1, 2, 3. So I'm pointing this user to connect to Azure network using point to site, which I call it as P2S. Okay, if someone asks or someone says about this P2S, do you know P2S? It is nothing but point to site. Okay, and again, you can give connection back to Azure for the limited number of users, be it be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, whatever it is. Even we can test it in our lab as well. Now, if you consider like all the users in your organization, let's say your organization size is more than 1,000 employees. Nowadays, even startups also will have like more than 100 employees, 200, 300 employees, right? So in such cases, we are going to use a concept site to site VPN, and both point to site and site to site will again use internet only. Okay, it will use internet, but it is going to use certain protocols to make sure that your connection is secure. Okay, and now site to site VPN, this will also be considered to enable connections from on premises to Azure. Again, the same scenario. Let me draw this one here. So this is Azure and this is on premises. Now in on premises, you also have, let's say, Hyderabad location, Bangalore, and Chennai. So let me draw this one. This is Hyderabad office, this is BLR office, and this is Chennai office, and this is Azure. So it means you are trying to enable connection from entire Bangalore site to Azure network, to Azure site. And from here, you can enable entire Chennai site to Azure and Hyderabad site to Azure. So you can have multiple connections from different locations of your offices to your Azure network. So it means all the employees whoever has got access or whoever has got that site to site connection enabled. Let's say even in on premises there will be multiple networks, right? So let's say this is a network where I need access to connect to Azure. So even in on premises, as you know, there will be multiple networks. So I'm going to enable connection for the entire network here to this Azure. It means all the users, whoever is got in this network, they will be able to connect to Azure. So to enable this connection, they are going to use again public internet with a firewall devices configured here, and here they will be firewall device. Firewall device is nothing but a secure device which you can configure certain protocols and which you can allow and block all the URLs and allow only the required ones. Okay, so they will be using these devices, and which we don't have these devices at this stage to test in our labs. So that's the reason I told you already, like we are not be able to test this site to site VPN as part of our labs. However, I'm going to give the documentation how to configure it. If you know this point to site VPN, then the configuration steps will be simple to enable this site to site VPN, which we are going to discuss in a bit. Now, the third option we have here is express route. So as I told you, both this point to site and site to site will be using internet, and the connection method, they will be using certain protocols to have that communication. If we consider express route VPN, so I'm going to draw one more diagram. Again, Azure on premises. This time I'm considering only one location, or even if you consider another location, it is a kind of direct connection from on premises to Azure. It will not go through internet. No internet. Of course, internet will work, but it is not like normal or Airtel or Geo. So it will go through, we call it as, let's take this one. Let me make it like this. Private connection. It means you're going to discuss with the service provider. Let's say in India, we have got Airtel and Geo are the service providers for Microsoft. If you speak with them once you need, let's say, express route connection, they're going to pull a dedicated line from your on-premises network to Azure network. Okay, it is a dedicated connection that you can enable from on-premises to your Azure network for the location where you have deployed. So each and every country will have different service providers. So let's say in India, we've got Tata Communications, we've got Airtel, we've got Reliance Jio. And if you go to Canada and USA, there is AT&T is a big network service provider. So likewise, in each and every country, if you consider Singapore, there is a Singtel where they've got uh, a contract with Microsoft to enable this kind of dedicated lines. So in between this line is dedicated for you, and you have to pay for this line, and there will not be any traffic from the outside network that you can use on this. Okay, so express route is nothing but it is a VPN where you can enable direct connection from on-premises to Azure through network service provider. Okay, so in order to create, where is that? Yeah, in order to create express route connection, you have to reach out to network service provider first before you configure your VPN connections. Okay, so until unless you reach out to network service providers, they will not be able to establish a VPN connection for your business. Okay, and now if you want to see who are those network service providers, so I'm going to show you that in the Microsoft official documentation itself, and then I'll come back to point to set VPN. Okay, so here uh, Azure Express Route. Why I'm referring this documentation is it will have updated information, and that too I refer Microsoft official documentation. I'm going to show the date as well when it has got updated and all. Service providers in India, or let's make it as generic. So yeah, connectivity providers. And see here, this is updated today. Okay, 28th June 2022. It means every often this will be updated with the latest information. Okay, so Australia, they've got Australia Central and Australia Central, two locations where you can enable express route. Okay, and for Europe, and these are the data center regions where there is express route facility, and you can use these network. I mean, these are the locations for this. Now, India, we have got India West, Central, and South. We've got Chennai, and these are the locations. Now, if you look at the data center networks, so in Australia, we have got ARNet, and in Chennai, Mumbai, I was saying that Airtel, right? So here it is Airtel. You have to reach out to them to connect from on-premises to Azure. And if you look at AT&T, so this is for Chicago, London, Silicon Valley, Singapore locations. Okay, it means you have to choose the right data center, and that's the reason whenever you are recommending any solution to the customer, you have to give the right choice and the right location to the customer. Otherwise, it's going to affect any long run. Okay, so let's say in our lab, that's fine. You can deploy in any of the location, but I think I have shown already the enterprise subscription during the initial days of discussion. So they have used all European countries. They have used, I mean, European. Uh, what should I say? Yeah, European organizations, like, because it has got offices across Netherlands, across uh, UK and Germany, and also in US. So for UK, especially when I say European countries, Ireland, Netherlands, altogether, they have used North Europe as a base location, as a primary location. Okay, and they have considered East US for US branches. I'm going to show that again as we move on, and let's get into this concept first. Okay, so how do we reach out to those guys? Even BSNL is also there, and you know the service about this BSNL. So it depends how you can and how you what kind of service that you opt for. Okay, and for China, Hong Kong, and Singapore, there is a China Mobile International as well, and Chicago, Claro, and if you look at, let's say, Chennai, uh, and Chennai, there is DECI. This is third party service. If you look at Global Cloud Exchange, this is also there. So there are some third party services which we don't know even the names. We did not hear that names earlier. You might have heard this SIFI broadband, right? So SIFI is there, and you can see in Mumbai there is a Reliance Jio. It is not applicable for all the locations. Okay, because South India means there is a data center in Chennai. It is not one data center. It has got multiple data centers. South India is a region, and there they've got SIFI. But when you go to Central India, which is Mumbai, they've got Reliance Jio, and they're going to enable connection using this Reliance Jio services. And there is Vodafone Idea as well, and you have to rely on the right service. Okay, if I search for Tata Communications, yes, Tata Communications, which is Tata Teleservices, they also have tie-up with Microsoft Azure, and they are going to use these services to enable direct connection. You might have heard that lease line, right, earlier. So it means they're going to pull a separate line for you to enable connection from your on-premises to Azure. Okay. Now, any question here?
How Tata Teleservices, they have completely came out of the communication, right?
ఒక నిమిషం, నాకు సౌండ్ వస్తుంది, ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడు.
టాటా టెలిసర్వీసెస్ కంప్లీట్ గా కమ్యూనికేషన్ సైడ్ నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేసాయి.
ఆహా, అర్థం కాలేదు
టాటా
రిపీట్.
టెలిసర్ టాటా టెలిసర్వీసెస్
ఆహా.
కంప్లీట్లీ ఈ ఐ మీన్ లైక్ టెలిఫోన్ సర్వీసెస్ స్టాప్ చేసాయి కదా అనుకున్నా.
నో టెలిఫోన్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ స్పీకింగ్ అబౌట్ టెలిఫోన్ హియర్.
ఓకే
ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే బ్రాడ్బ్యాండ్ కనెక్షన్ అనుకో, లీజ్
ఓకే
లైన్ కనెక్షన్స్, లీజ్ లైన్ కనెక్షన్స్ ఇంకా కార్పొరేట్స్ కి. అండ్ you might have seen the recent news. Tata Communications has got the largest cable network across the world, which is underwater. So it has got business in different countries also. ఇండియాలో మనకు మెయిన్ గా అనిపిస్తుంది ఎయిర్టెల్, జియో, కానీ దీస్ ఆర్ వైర్లెస్ నెట్వర్క్ సర్వీస్ ప్రొవైడర్స్ అలాంగ్ విత్ వైడ్ నెట్వర్క్. సో టాటా కమ్యూనికేషన్స్ అండ్ సిఫీ ఇంట్లో కొన్ని ఉన్నాయన్నమాట. దీస్ ఆర్ వైడ్ నెట్వర్క్స్. they might not have SIM cards, but they've got wired networks. So cable networks చాలా పెద్ద అనమాట వాళ్ళవి. ఇట్ మీన్స్ దే కెన్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ కనెక్షన్ టు ఎనీ లొకేషన్. అట్లాంటి నెట్వర్క్స్ అనమాట అవి. స్టిల్ దే ఆర్ అప్ అండ్ రన్నింగ్.
ఓకే
ఓకే. నౌ what was that? Okay, so now let's go to point to site. So in order to make sure that to enable connection for this point to site VPN, we have got a couple of steps to follow. So in order to follow this, I'm going to write all those steps, how we can enable connection from on-premises to Azure. When I say on-premises, for this point to site, I'm going to use my laptop as on-premises. You can consider your laptop as your on-premises device, and you can do the lab from your laptop itself. It's going to work. So the requirement here we have is, let me write the steps and I'm going to explain each and every step. So the first thing is you should have a virtual network. Okay, though I'm writing here, create or choose a virtual network. So by looking at the steps, then you'll be able to understand easily. Virtual network for which you need to establish. I'm going to send these steps to you. No need to write it now. Okay, this is the first step that you're going to do. So let's say if you have already the network in your lab, you can choose that directly. Otherwise, you can go for new VNet creation. So point to site VPN steps. Okay, now even in interviews also you might get questions like this. Can you tell me the procedure for point to site VPN? Okay, that may not be accurate, but at least you should be in a position to give the high level steps, right? So what are the steps that you're going to take? That matters. So the first step is that. Now second one is create a gateway subnet. Right, and third step, and you have to create a virtual network gateway. So I'm going to explain these steps, no need to panic now, which is a public IP address creation. Fourth step is create a root and child certificate. Fifth one, export, is this export or import? Yes, export a root certificate without a private key. And sixth step, export child certificate with private key. Seventh step, okay, publish root certificate data to virtual network gateway for point to site VPN. Eighth step, generate VPN setup and publish child certificate for the users. Download and let's make it like this: download, install, and connect VPN. So these are the 10 steps we are going to perform to enable point to site a VPN setup. Okay, the first thing is a virtual network. So I'm going to draw the diagram as well. Where is that? Right. So the first step that here is create a virtual network. Yes, I have got a VNet. This is a VNet and I'm making it here VNet. The next step is gateway subnet. So gateway subnet ante enti? I'm going to create additional subnet. So let me give an example. So for your home, there will be main entrance, and also there will be, if there is uh, a gate, the main gate, where let's say the compound undanukundaam. If there is a gate, people has to come through that gate. And మీ ఇంట్లోకి రావాలంటే first the people has to cross your gate. ఎందుకు ఆ గేటు? To make sure that people should not come into your home in different ways. I am making one specific route to enter into your home through the gate. Right? I'm just giving an example of your home. అంటే ఏంటి? లోపలికి ఎవరైనా రావాలన్నా లేకపోతే లోపల నుండి బయట రావాలన్నా ఆ గేట్ యూస్ చేసుకొని బయట రావాలి. Okay, let's consider this VNet is your home. Okay, and then I'm going to build a gateway. Gateway is nothing but ఒక gate create చేస్తాను ఇక్కడ. I call this as gateway subnet. ఈ VNet ను యూస్ చేసుకొని నేను subnet create చేస్తాను. We know how to create a subnet. Gateway subnet. This is considered as your home gate. So if someone నేను ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాను అనమాట. This is on premises user. If I have to reach out to this guy, to this home, first I will come to this gate, and once this guy is allowed he allows me, then I'll be entering into his home. Okay, that is the procedure. Now in between still there are multiple steps. I'm going to delete this connection. There will be gateway subnet which we are going to create now. So gateway is nothing but entry or exit point in simple terms. Okay, the way that you are going to enter into your home and the way that you are going to come, you're coming from your home. నువ్వు చెప్పొచ్చు నా దగ్గర నాకు 2 doors, నాకు ఒక డోర్ లో వస్తాను ఇంకో డోర్ లో వెళ్తాను. దట్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్ స్టోరీ. సో కన్సిడర్ దిస్ as an example for this VNet. Okay, now this is the second step, and let me go to the portal. So virtual networks, I've got India prod VNet 1 and USA prod VNet 1. So I'm going to use one of the VNet here. Instead of creating a new VNet, I've got already these networks, and I'm going to break this peering. I don't want this network peering because we have already tested. So just to make sure that our credits are safe for longer duration, I'm going to delete this connection, which we have done in our yesterday's lab. Okay, now it is still progressing. Let's wait for it.
Hari, I have a doubt. Okay.
Mhm.
The credit points, credit
ఒక
points
నిమిషం
what we,
ఒక్క నిమిషం ఆ వాయిస్ నాకు ఎక్కువ రాకుండా క్లియర్ గా చెప్పాలి.
sorry, like the credit points is showing, right? Amount.
క్రెడిట్స్
చూపిస్తాను కదా అది. It's showing some credits, right?
ఇక్కడ
Ah,
ఆ,
yes, that one. Initially, I mean, when storage training was going on, it was showing some 10,670, okay.
ఉమ్,
And virtual network starting, the class started, about 10,800 something was there.
ఉమ్.
It's about that how 200 rupees has gone
తగ్గి
up. So,
తగ్గిపోతూ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు ఎంత యూజ్ చేసావో ఇక్కడ
పెరిగింది
చూసుకోవచ్చు.
మధ్యలో పెరిగింది
మధ్యలో
మధ్యలో
పెరిగిందా?
పెరిగింది అనమాట.
ఆహా.
200 పెరిగింది. అది డౌట్
ఓకే,
ఎట్లా పెరిగింది, ఎందుకు తగ్గింది, ఎట్లా తగ్గింది.
ఎవడైనా వేసాడు తెలియదు. ఎట్లా జరుగుతుంది తెలియదు. ఓకే,
నేను అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తున్నా రోజు.
లెట్స్
లైక్
సీ హియర్.
టూ
అట్లేం లేదే, అట్లా ఉండదే.
లేదు ఐఎమ్ డామ్ షూర్ 10,600 సంథింగ్ 10,700 ఉంది,
మేబీ
10,600 సంథింగ్ వచ్చింది.
రిఫ్రెషింగ్ లేట్ అయిందేమో తెలియదు. బట్ లెట్స్ సీ హియర్. బట్ దట్ డజంట్ మ్యాటర్,
ఎవ్రీడే
మనకు
చూస్తాను
ఉన్నంత
కదా.
వరకు దట్స్ ఫైన్. అది
అది డౌట్
దాంతో ప్రాబ్లం ఏం
ఎట్లా
లేదు. యా,
ఎట్లా.
అట్లయితే పెరగదు. ఓకే, ఇన్ కేస్ నా సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ ఏమైనా రెన్యూ అయింటే అప్పుడు నీకు ఎక్కువ కనిపిస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే లాస్ట్ మంత్ క్రెడిట్స్ నేను వాడకపోతే నాది అఫీషియల్ సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ కాబట్టి ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ రెన్యూడ్. రెన్యూ అయినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే నాకు ఫుల్ అమౌంట్ వస్తుంది. పాత క్రెడిట్స్ ఎన్ని ఉన్నా కూడా లైక్ ఇట్ విల్ గో ఆఫ్.
ఓకే ఓకే.
మేబీ అదై ఉండొచ్చు. ఓకే, యా, ఏదో చెప్తున్నాం పోయింది. ఎస్, గేట్వే సబ్నెట్. సో I was trying to break that network peering, and it has got successfully deleted. Now, if you look at the subnets, there is a feature called gateway subnet. We did not discuss this option earlier. We have discussed only this subnet. So now there is a gateway subnet feature, and for this additional requirements, it is always recommended that to keep your address space big and make sure IP addresses are available for like future uses. Okay, and if you recall, I have used /24, which will give me 256 IP addresses, out of which I have created a subnet, which is this subnet one, and I have used /26, which will give me 64 IP addresses, which is like 59 plus 5. A 5 ఎందుకు అనేది ఇంకా డిస్కస్ చేయాలి. We will discuss that at next level. Okay, so we will have 64 IP addresses based on the subnetting formulas. So still I've got 192 IP addresses out of 256. Okay, so 256 minus 64, which will give me 192 IP addresses. Now, in order to create a gateway subnet, you should have free IP addresses. అంటే మీ నెట్వర్క్ లో కొన్ని ఐపీ అడ్రసెస్ ఫ్రీగా ఉండాలి, అంతే కదా. ఇప్పుడు మీ హౌస్ కి కాంపౌండ్ కట్టాలంటే అండ్ గేటు పెట్టాలంటే ఆ స్పేస్ ఉంటే గానీ కట్టలేవు కదా. స్పేస్ లేకుండా నేను గేట్ పెట్టుకుంటానంటే పెట్టుకోవచ్చు, బట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ఓన్లీ యువర్ మెయిన్ గేట్. లైక్ ఒక హోమ్ ఎంట్రన్స్ ఉంటుంది, మెయిన్ డోర్ అంటారు కదా, అది మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. సో ఇఫ్ యూ కన్సిడర్ దట్ లాజికలీ, యూ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ షూర్ that there should be some space available, which is like a people will enter here and then they will pass through that main gate and then they can come back to your main door, like, which is your home door. Now, and consider this is compound gate or wall, whatever that you call. Now, second step here we have is gateway subnet. So just click on this, and you cannot even change the name of this subnet. It is by default that will be allocated to your subnet. అదే ఇక్కడ నార్మల్ సబ్నెట్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు you have an option to create with your required name. Okay, subnet name ఏదైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు. You can give your own name as well, like user 1, user 2 of subnet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. You can give any name, but for gateway subnet it is not possible. So this is a logical question. Is it possible to change a gateway subnet name? That is the interviewer question. So the straight answer is no. I mean, they'll try to confuse you by giving a big scenario. Okay, like let's say I've got a VNet and I've got a point to site VPN connection enabled already for one of the VNet, and I also have additional one more VNet which is there in South India region. I've got 100 subnets under that, and I'm planning to enable a point to site VPN connection to that South India VNet. So I wanted to customize the name for gateway subnet. He has given all the story, he or she, whatever, whoever it is, and you have to think. You'll be in a dilemma that okay, 100 VNets and another VNet, this, that, and all. If you'll thinking, but the actual answer is very simple. So actual scenarios will be like this only in enterprise. Okay, they will give a big scenario or they'll give a big problem, and the solution will be very simple. Okay, but sometimes it will be like depending on multiple factors where you have to consider different things. So as we move on, you'll be able to understand how I'm analyzing and how I'm giving you the updates. Okay, సో నేను ఎట్లా అనలైజ్ చేస్తున్నా మీరు కూడా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, అండ్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ మనకి ఇంకా సినారీస్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి. ఆ సినారీస్ డిస్కస్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇట్ ఈస్ అ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ టాస్క్ ఫర్ యూ టు కన్సిడర్ రియల్ టైమ్ examples. Okay, now gateway subnet, and here based on the number of IP addresses. ఇక్కడ లెట్స్ సే నా గేట్ ఇక్కడ అనుకుందాం, మళ్ళీ గేట్ దగ్గరికి వస్తాను. సో ఈ గేట్ లో అట్ ఏ టైం ఇద్దరు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఇద్దరు రావచ్చు అనుకుందాం, అంటే చిన్న గేట్ అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ టెలింగ్ యూ ద లేమన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్. సో చిన్న గేట్ లో ఒకరు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, అట్ ఏ టైం ఒకరు రావచ్చు, అట్లా ఉండొచ్చు. లేకపోతే ఇద్దరు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఇద్దరు రావచ్చు, ముగ్గురు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ముగ్గురు రావచ్చు. ఇట్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ద సైజ్ ఆఫ్ ద గేట్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు, ఐ మీన్ ద పర్సన్స్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎంటర్ ఆర్ ఎగ్జిట్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్. లేదు అందరూ ఒకేసారి వచ్చేసారు అనుకో, ఇట్ విల్ బి కంజెస్టెడ్ and people will not be able to enter or exit. It will be blocked. So they have to move slowly. That is a common example that we have seen multiple times in various cases. So same ikkada kuda, you have to define the range, how many members that you are going to enable a VPN connection. So VPN point to site ఉంది కదా, ఎంతమందికి ఎనేబుల్ చేయబోతున్నావు? Is it for only one user? Is it for two users? Of course, by giving this gateway subnet with small range, and if you're enabling connection for multiple users, still it will work. But the problem is it will be congested. The performance will be less. Okay, so I'm going with default setting because I'm going to use only one device. If you want to make it for 26, which is 64 IP addresses, you can go for it. I'm going with, you can go with /29 as well, which will be like 8 IP addresses. So let's make it as 28, which will give you 16 IP addresses. Right? So now 16 IP addresses, and Yeah, these concepts like network security group, that will come at next level again. Even this route table, so we know the service endpoint. So if you want to enable only storage account through this gateway subnet, yes, you can enable that using this service endpoint. Okay, so you have to just select it and save it. That's it. Nothing you have to do additionally for this service endpoint configuration. Okay, so that is done now. Let's go to where is that? Yeah, gateway subnet and save. I am not doing any other configuration in this window. Just have that gateway subnet created. That's it. Availability dependent on dynamic use. So depends on your uses, IP address will be available. For now, everything is free. So gateway subnet is done as part of our second step. Now, the third step is virtual network gateway. This is even the next level to enter into your home. Again, I'm taking an example. సో నువ్వు మెయిన్ గేట్ కట్టుకున్నావు, తర్వాత మెయిన్ డోర్ ఉంది, అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. బట్ అసలు ఈ గేట్ దగ్గరకు రావడానికి దారి ఎట్లా? రైట్, ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ డ్రాయింగ్ ఎ సైడ్. ఏదో ఒక స్ట్రీట్ ఉండాలి, ఆ స్ట్రీట్ కి తగ్గట్టు ఎంట్రీ ఎగ్జిట్ పాయింట్స్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. లేకపోతే ఇట్ ఈస్ డిఫికల్ట్ టు ఎంటర్ ఇన్ టు యువర్ హోమ్ త్రూ దిస్ కాంపౌండ్ గేట్. దానికోసం ఏం చేస్తాను నేను, దీనికంటే ముందుగా ఒక పాత్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాను, విచ్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ వీనెట్ గేట్వే. అంటే ఏంటి? This is a public IP address which I'm going to create. Let's call it as public IP, which I'm going to create in this format. So స్ట్రీట్లో ఎవరు నడుస్తారు? నువ్వు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, నేను వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఇంకా వేరే వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళొచ్చు. And they can enter into your home gate. But this VNet gateway is a way to connect through the internet using this public IP address, and this will be enabled only for you. This is a public IP address through this gateway, and it is enabled on top of that gateway subnet. Okay, so we have to create a VNet gateway and attach this VNet gateway to your VNet. So how to attach it? You have to go through this subscription homepage, and you can search here directly like this, virtual network gateways. You can see that there is a lock symbol here. You can use this directly. If not, go back to all services, networking, and here you can find, where is that? Here also you can type just gateways. So there are multiple gateways. So our requirement is virtual network gateways. Here you can see that. Okay, so click on this, you'll find the same page. Now and this will take 15 minutes to get created. అంటే మనం ఇనిషియేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఆ విర్చువల్ నెట్వర్క్ గేట్వే క్రియేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ లో ఒక పబ్లిక్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అలొకేట్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో దట్ విల్ టేక్ 15 minutes to get allocated. Earlier it was taking 45 minutes to get that IP address created. Okay, so because this is trying to get IP address from the network service provider, which is already reserved by Microsoft, and they are going to release to your network gateway. Okay, so click on create, and now this time I have to be very careful in choosing the location, because I've selected India VNet. So I have to be clear on which Indian location that I've given, which is South India. I feel, yes, yeah, South India and Prod VNet resource group. So why I'm referring this one is we are trying to create a VNet gateway for our VNet, for this India VNet. In this case, my VNet gateway also should be located on the same location. Then it will be easy for me to connect. Okay, now let's go to this one. India VNet gateway. Gateway subnet is different, where you have created a subnet within your IP address range, which is a private IP address range. And this time we are creating VNet gateway, which is a public IP address. Okay, now where is that? Yeah, location. I'll be choosing South India as part of, like, as per my actual network, South India. And here you have got a VPN express route. So we are going with this VPN. Even for express route or site to site VPN or point to site VPN, this VNet gateway is common. Up to this point, it is common. 1, 2, 3, three steps are common for point to site to site, and another one, yeah, express route, common anamata. So let's go with first step. And there is one more option, a route based and policy based. It means we are defining the route, how it has to travel, just like our Google Maps, right? So once you enter the destination from your current location, it will show you the route. You have to go left, right, go 100 meters straight and 1 kilometer left, something like that. It will show, right? Similarly, we are defining the route to go in this way. First, go to VNet gateway if user wants to connect, and then go to gateway subnet and then enter into your home, like that. So I'm using route based and I'm not using policy based. This is the next level, which we'll see at, I'm going to explain it later stages. Policy in the sense, నేను కొన్ని కండిషన్స్ పెడతాను. ఏమని, ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు బెంగళూరు టు చెన్నై వెళ్ళాలి. సో ఫస్ట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు స్టార్ట్ బెంగళూరులో స్టార్ట్ అవ్వాలంటే నీకు కండిషన్ ఏమని, వర్క్ కంప్లీట్ చేసి ఉంటేనే నువ్వు చెన్నై బయలుదేరు. దట్ ఈస్ మై కండిషన్. ఓకే, వర్క్ కంప్లీట్ అయింది, ఐఎమ్ స్టార్టింగ్ నౌ. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ కండిషన్, బెంగళూరు దాటిన తర్వాత హొసూర్ అనుకుందాం, బికాజ్ యూ విల్ గో త్రూ దట్ రోడ్. సో త్రూ హొసూర్ వెళ్ళాలి. హొసూర్లో ఒక పని చెప్తాను, అక్కడ అక్కడ ఇంకో కండిషన్ పెట్టుంటాను అనమాట. హొసూర్లో దిగి ఇంకొక అతన్ని మీట్ అయ్యి అండ్ అతని దగ్గర ఏదో కలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని వెళ్ళు, అదొక, దట్ ఈస్ వన్ మోర్ కండిషన్ ఐఎమ్ కీపింగ్. అండ్ ఇఫ్ యూ కీప్ దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కండిషన్స్ టు ట్రావెల్ టు చెన్నై, you are going to define the policies. Okay, so that is the next level. We will see that network level expertise కావాలి దానికి. Now what is that? Yeah, skew. Skew is nothing but, people will call it as skew, or some people will call it as SKU, whatever it is. It is nothing but a plan. So network gateway create చేస్తున్నావు, and even if you consider your network connection in your home, you will be looking after the speed, how fast that you can communicate over the public internet or browse your page. So internet speed ఏంటి, నాకు 100 Mbps కావాలి. Then I'll be happy to work on my system. Likewise, in order to connect to your VPN, there are multiple speeds that you can use. So these are predefined, each and every plan, like VPN gateway 1 gateway 2, gateway 3, 4. Each and every plan has its different speed limitations. So in order to see that, I'm just place your mouse cursor here under this I information symbol and learn more. Here you have got VPN gateway, virtual network gateway, like theory unta chala. You can still go through that. Why I've come to this site is to show you the speed of this. Yeah. So if you go with basic SKU, basic plan, the maximum speed that you can get here is 100 Mbps. If you go with VPN gateway 1, you will get 650 Mbps. That is the maximum limit. అక్కడ Azure లో ఏమో 650 ఉంటుంది. మరి నీ ల్యాప్టాప్ లో 1 Mbps ఉంటే it is a mistake where you will be getting 1 Mbps speed only because the other end is not supported. So you should plan accordingly. VPN gateway to 1 Gbps. Likewise, it can go up to 10 Gbps speed to connect to your Azure VNet through a VPN. Okay, so if I come back to this, it is reflecting the same. It is showing only a few gateways because our subscription is not supported for all. Okay, so I'm going with gateway 1, which is giving me 650 Mbps maximum benchmark. Now, if you look at this virtual network, where are you trying to integrate this VNet gateway? As per our lab, I am enabling this one to India VNet. Okay, so I am going to choose India VNet. In case if you have got multiple virtual networks in your subscription in India location, it will show all the networks. You need to make sure that choose the right gateway. I mean right VNet. Select this one. See here. Wait, 1 second. Okay. So to deploy a zone redundant general gateway, the gateway subnet must be /27 or larger. సో ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇచ్చిన ఐపీ అడ్రస్ సరిపోవట్లేదు అని చెప్పి ఎర్రర్ చూపిస్తుంది గేట్వే సబ్నెట్ కి. ఓకే, ఇక్కడేమో వీనెట్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం, బట్ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ లో ఏమో అది గేట్వే సబ్నెట్ కి వెళ్తుంది. అందుకే ఈ డయాగ్రామ్ అలా ఇస్తాను నేను. గేట్వే సబ్నెట్, వీనెట్, అండ్ బిఫోర్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వీనెట్ గేట్వే. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ లార్జర్ స్పేస్. సో 27 సరిపోవట్లేదు, గివ్ సంథింగ్ బిగ్గర్ విచ్ ఈస్ లైక్ మినిమం /27 ఉండాలి. /27 మీన్స్ ఐ థింక్ 64 ఐపీ అడ్రసెస్ కదా. Yes. So let's go back to subnets and click on this and modify this. So ఇది మాడిఫై చేయాలంటే ఎవరు యూజ్ చేస్తుండకూడదు, అప్పుడే మాడిఫై చేయొచ్చు. ఆల్రెడీ వేరే వాళ్ళు /27 is 32. ఆల్రెడీ ఎవరైనా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు ఫర్ డిఫరెంట్ అదర్ పర్పసెస్ అంటే it is difficult to modify. You need to be very careful if you are planning to configure any of your VNets and subnets. I mean modifying subnets. Save, and this will be done in few seconds. And now I'll refresh this page by copying this name instead of typing again. Reload. Right, and I'm choosing that again, South India. We will not be able to finish all of these steps today. Okay, so I will just initiate this VNet gateway creation as it will take 15 to 20 minutes, and of course there will be additional cost for this. So till then, till next session, we'll be able to complete this lab and delete. Now I'll choose this one. Yeah, now there is no error. Public IP address type standard. So public IP address లో మళ్ళీ స్టాండర్డ్ అని బేసిక్ అని డిఫరెంట్ ఉన్నాయి. అది ఇంకా డిస్కస్ చేయలేదు. When we discuss about virtual machines, then I'm going to discuss those concepts. So you have to give the name to the public IP address. So public IP address ఎవరు ఇస్తారని చెప్పాను, ఇంటర్నెట్ సర్వీస్ ప్రొవైడర్ ఇస్తారు. ఇన్ అవర్ జనరల్ కేసెస్ మనం ఇంటర్నెట్ వాడుతుంటే వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారు. ఇక్కడ అజూర్కి ఎవరు ఇచ్చారు, అజూర్ కూడా నెట్వర్క్ సర్వీస్ ప్రొవైడర్స్ ఇచ్చారు. బట్ Azure has already purchased and reserved those public IP addresses for this kind of business requirements. Don't ask me what network they are using in the backend. So all of those are confidential. Okay. So now I'm giving VNet. Okay, I'll use like this to identify easily. India VNet Gateway hyphen public IP. Okay, name is the none. Now I'm going with all this default settings. Review and create. Create. So VNet gateway step initiate చేసాం ఇక్కడ, and next steps are like certificate creation, and these are simple things which I'm going to show in next session. So this will take some time, and like we will be able to know how much time that it has taken. Okay, so just I will show that step and then we'll close for the day. So ఒక్కొక్క రిసోర్స్ రిప్లై చేశారు అండ్ ఎంత టైం తీసుకుని తెలుసుకోవాలంటే you have to go to, let's say, India prod VNet అనుకుందాం. అది ఏ రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్ లో ఉందో ఆ రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్కి వెళ్ళాలి, and here you will find deployments. Okay, so here it will show you virtual network creation చేయడానికి మనకు 11 seconds పట్టింది. అంటే as soon as we click on create, it has taken 11 seconds. And DDoS production plan create చేసాం నిన్న, it has taken 9 seconds. And VNet gateway for now it has taken 16 seconds. It will take even more time. Okay, so you can track the duration of your deployment as well, how much time that it has taken for your whether it is VNet creation or storage account creation. If you want to see storage account, just last thing, I'm going with this demo storage lab 1 and look for deployments. So storage account create చేయడానికి 25 seconds 26 seconds but it is very quick. So VM's deployment will take even more time, so we will see that at next level. So before we close, just to recap, we have discussed about these types of VPNs, and we also covered the diagrams for each and every type of VPN that will be there for on-premises to Azure, and we have written the steps for point-to-site VPN, and we have come up to this third step. So remaining steps will be completed in next session, and then you can perform lab on your given account. Okay.